Hi guys, it's Clarice. Today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to do a hibiscus flower. I grew up with these in India. I guess because of the weather, it's like such a tropical flower. It would grow pretty much wild almost everywhere in people's gardens and stuff like that. So it's got very nostalgic feeling and memories for me. And someone had requested this, so I said, sure, why not? Let's try it out and see how it goes. This was my first try, and my second try is going to be what I do with you guys on here. So here's hoping that it turns out as good, if not better. So let's begin. I am using scraps of watercolor paper, and this is a roll that was ordered off Amazon. I don't remember the name. I'll add it to the description in case you are curious. The colors I'm using are my red, my yellow for the center, and then I'm using two variations of green. This one has a little more brown in it, and this is my favorite deep forest emerald, whatever you want to call it. I think it's more of a forest. Emerald is brighter, but this is like a dark green, which I love. And I do have an image of the hibiscus just for reference, just to see how it kind of folds and whatnot, open on my iPad. Let me see if you can see this properly. Yeah, right here. And it's very pretty. I love the color. I think what I'll do is I'll add a little bit of orange in this, just to see the pink and the orange kind of fade in. And let's see what we get with that. I have this open for reference, like I mentioned, and we are ready to begin. For my brushes, I am using my Vinci 1 Squirrel Mop, and then the Silver Black Velvet in the 4. And let's get started right now. I just want to make sure I have my paper towel on the side and ready. And so to begin with, what I'm going to do is I will first do the center. So using the yellow, I will start with the center. And pretty much what that entails is it's just pointillism. So you're just erratically placing blobs, tiny blobs of the yellow on here. And it's got to resemble the shape of the, I can't remember the exact word for it, but let's just go with the fluffy center that it has. Or powdery center, because I know when you touch this, like it's all this yellow powder that comes on your hands. And what I'm also going to do now is I will take the squirrel mop brush and I'm going to go into my red and I'm going to get as much red as I can on it. And there's water on the brush as well, so keep that in mind. And then what I will do is I will add lots of red in the center like this. Remember, this is a very loose style, and so just keep that in mind, all right? And just add slight blobs here and there within this bit as well. And now for the fun part, I am going to wash off some of the color from my brush, put more water on it, and then I'm just going to create the first petal, making sure that the center is still wet, okay guys? And so the petals are kind of like rounded at the center, and then I'm just going to draw. I don't want to color the whole center, so I'm just going to create like lines in it so there's white space. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. And you keep, I said keep the thing for reference, keep the image for reference open. just so you can see what that looks like. And you see how it's drying, so the fade isn't as much. So you got to go quick, guys. So you have to really kind of go quick, but make sure you don't lose out on that. Oh, that's my laptop. I'm going to leave that open. And then I'm going to do the same here. And then one more petal over here. And there we have the hibiscus. Now, what you can also do is you can choose to take your number 4, if you want to give it a little more detail around here. Go back into your red, not as dark, and then while this is still wet, just at the edges, give it some, you got to get more color onto your brush though, because there's so much water on here, and just the edges, give it some definition. And then that just adds a little bit of an extra depth to it. And yep, just do that. And just let it taper off, because you don't want it to go all the way and make it like a outline per se, but you want it to be more of a hint of an outline, really, but like a natural outline. And if it's dried up like here, I'm just going to take plain water on my brush and just try and make it not as hard edged. And this one's still pretty wet, so I think if I do this, it's going to give it a nicer edge because it'll blend in just like that. And just a hint here. This one's fairly dry, so I know it's not going to be as awesome, but it won't be terrible. So there we go. All right, and then I'm going to do this last one here. Oh, a little bit too much there. Anyways, yeah, so you get the gist. This is what it looks like. And what I'll now do is I'm going to create another version of this just on the side, just so we have another reference. And so I'm going to do this a little extra quickly. And for this version, I'll make it off to the side, like a side one, just like this. So this is looser, and I will do, I'm just going to go and get in a lot of the pink color, and it's not as saturated, so there's more water in this than color. And loosely I'm just going to create petals and leave white space in between. So this is the inside, and then this is going to be like a petal that's kind of flopping outside. So you want to do like almost like the tulip shape for the inside, and then a floppy one from the outside. And then I'm just going to dip my brush in the color and just put it at the edge here, so it clearly defines the difference between these petals at the top and the petals that are flopping down. I'm just gonna pop some color there. That seems to have dried. So I'm taking this brush and just blending it in. It has no color on this, just water, and so I'm just blending it in. And blend this in here too, and just give it like lines, so it looks like the lines in the petal from the flower. Same here, adding a little more color so it gives you that good color variation of that kind of creates a depth, as I mentioned before. And now finally I'm going to just as soon as I stop doing all of this, I'm going to take this brush back again, dip into my yellow and just dab away. And remember, this is a very loose style of the flower. So this is also how I would normally do my peonies off to the side. So you can do a couple of different variations of loose flowers this way. I mean, you can get away with it, really. And then just taking some of the red, and I'm just going to put that in there too. It's getting a little too watery here, as you can see, because there's too many, like the blobs of yellow have too much water in them. But that's okay for the purpose of this tutorial. And yep, so that's that. And I'm just going to quickly do some leaves. So we're not going to get the blending effect here because they're pretty much dried, but I will kind of aim to get something over here. So let's see if I can do anything. I'll just do a leaf here, and the leaves are nice and round with like an edge. So I'm just pressing down my brush and then tapering, like dragging it off to the end. And again, it's loose, so I want to keep it like lots of white space in between, not necessarily fully colored in. And also the leaves are a nice dark green, and they have the tapered edge, so you can sort of play around with a hint of that. Right, and then I will do another one here. And I love when I drag my brush, like press my brush down and then drag it, because it gives you like almost like an outline of the leaf and then light and dark variations of the color. And I love it because it just adds so much more with just a sweep. And literally that's, you could just leave your leaf like that and it's totally fine. So try a couple of different things around with it. So again, like literally just press down and then just drag. I'm just adding a hint of the brownie in there. And I'll just do one more here. So these leaves couldn't be any easier, guys. Just kind of doing a stem, and then just like a casual leaf again. A smaller one here. And now I can just add some for design effect, like here possibly. And then just one off to the side. Now it's just placement, and now I'm just kind of doing extra. So you can place your leaves where you see fit. I normally like to kind of give it a swirly look. And by swirly, I mean like give it direction. So it's either going here and kind of just almost like it adds movement to your painting, which I like. And just makes it prettier to look at. So and then the looser it is, the nicer it kind of looks in terms of it looking artsy. So don't worry about making sure that they look like perfect leaves. Oops, I just flung my brush like I normally do. Does it happen to you guys? I know it happens to me a lot. I think someone else mentioned it happens to them. Okay, so we're done. This is how I would do a hibiscus, and these are very loose hibiscus flowers. And to end it, I think I'm going to do this just to give it a little extra. I'm splashing green on myself as well. It's kind of funny right now. I think it's all over my face too. But yeah, I'm really into this whole like, let's splatter paint at the end of it. It kind of looks cute, and I think it adds a little something extra to it. So if you wanted to make it like a finished painting and not a bouquet, and you're not adding this additional flowers to it, this is what a suggestion that you can do to keep it interesting. But other than that, this is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in your comments what you thought. I'd love to hear if you have any suggestions or questions. I'm always ready to respond. You can write them in the comments below, or I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. So links are below as well. Follow, add me, show me your work. I am so happy to see how my tutorials help you guys. So feel free to interact, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and have a lovely week. Bye.